Welcome to Season 4 of Song Revolution, where you're going to find great information, interviews, and inspiration to fulfill your passionate calling to write great songs. Hey everybody, John back with you for another great episode of Song Revolution. You guys who follow me know that I love doing this show because our company, Nashville Christian Songwriters, exists to empower you to fulfill your passionate calling to write and to sing for Jesus, to make him even more famous, and to bring love and worship in the gospel to the world. And I love this show because I want to resource you, but I want to introduce you to great new people. Today is no exception. I have in the studio a Broadway legend. She's amazing. I wish I could go through every show that she's been in. Just so many. And star of television, Hallmark movies, the Hallmark Channel, and the Great American Family television network. So many great things that Laura Osnes has done. She's now a Nashvilleian, migrated from Manhattan to Nashville about 4 years ago. And she and her husband, Nathan, are equipping the next generation of actors and actresses, the next generation of those who are called to the stage. And being from a musical family, a Broadway musical family myself, actually just loving it, not appearing. I'm just thrilled to introduce to you Laura Osnes. Laura, welcome.
Hi, John. Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. You nailed all the talking points in the intro. That was beautiful.
Yay.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. And you're a new friend, though. I've been actually following you a little bit over the last year or so. I'm not sure how I stumbled on you, but you are a unique creature in that you have such depth on Broadway and television as well, with Hallmark and the Great American Family television films. And yet you're now here having done about 4 years of singer-songwriter exploration, which I want to get into a bit. But
Really?
You and Nathan are starting this whole new Stagecraft.com. So why don't we just start with this question? What does it feel like to be you today?
Oh, I think I am in a very hopeful season right now. I think with the launch of a new year, I'm very expectant for what God is going to do this year. And last year was a complete whirlwind of surprises, and in a good way, for the most part. And so I feel like as much as I try to plan and hope and dream, that stuff is good, but I'm also ready
That's
to
awesome.
go wherever God's going to call.
I love that. And you do have a lot on your plate. And I don't know, for me, the new year, it always feels like a clean slate, even though there's the carryover of all the projects that we started
Sure.
last year that we're still working on. But it's I don't know, I feel hopeful too. It's always exciting and to anticipate God's blessing on the things that he's encouraging in my spirit. And so as we kind of look at your life, why don't you take us back a little bit to the genesis of your singing? You're obviously a massive talent. Your voice is so incredible. I mean, Cinderella, on and on and on. I mean, I could just list all of your stage credits: Grease, Pride and Prejudice, South Pacific, Bonnie and Clyde, you were Bonnie, Sound of Music, which is awesome, and just on and on. So take us back to maybe even the genesis of how did you discover your voice, and what did you dream that you would be such an accomplished stage performer?
I mean, you always hope, yes, that you'll get to do what you love with your life. And I think the genesis for me was getting a Fisher-Price tape recorder for Christmas when I was about 2 years old, back in the 80s.
Fisher-Price.
Exactly. And my mom said I carried that thing with me everywhere. And I don't know, it was the little tape recorder, cassette recorder, for those of you who even know what that is, with that little microphone attached. And I loved it. And I started listening to musicals, Broadway musical soundtracks, cast albums in my living room, and playing all the parts and acting along. And I sang Castle on a Cloud from Les Mis at my kindergarten talent show. And fortunately, my parents saw that passion, saw that I gravitated towards that, encouraged me. We found opportunities to do community theater shows. And then as I got older, more professional shows in Minneapolis. I grew up in Minnesota. And it's a great theater town there. They actually have a really big music scene and art scene there. And so I was very thankful to get a lot of opportunity to do cool things at a young age. And started dreaming about Broadway. Absolutely. I started taking dance lessons and voice lessons and wanted to be that true triple threat, that well-rounded stage performer. And had an opportunity in 2006 to fly to Los Angeles and audition for a TV reality show that was casting the role of Sandy in Grease on Broadway. And I thought, this is my dream, even more so than like something like American Idol, where I would just be singing pop songs. Like this was, the prize was a lead in a Broadway show. Wow. And I felt this call in my spirit to go. I saw the letters G-O. And I knew that it was an impossible dream. And yet I flew to LA on a whim and a leap of faith and ended up winning that competition. That competition that cast me as the role of Sandy in Grease when I was 21. And so, like, it was just, there was just kind of this pathway forecasted. Yes, there were a lot of bumps along the way and a lot of no's, and but a lot of also encouragement and affirmation that I was on the right path and heading in the right direction. And little did I know that I would get, my Broadway dream would come true, A, via a reality TV show, and B, at such a young age, you know?
That is amazing. And the life of an actor is so hard.
It is.
Right? I mean, it's feast or famine. One of our dear family friends, their son has actually done some off-Broadway things, and he was actually had a very brief part in Tubman, the Harriet Tubman film,
amazing.
But watching his, the ups and downs. I mean, he's bartending now just to make a living. How did you find, your way through, the jungle of Broadway?
I think I never had to wait tables. The other day job that I had was to teach at a drama camp in Minnesota, where I grew up at my high school. That was my summer job, is teaching kids at a drama camp, and was fortunate enough to be able to make a living being an actor, doing musical theater in Minnesota from the age 18 to 21. I only went to college for 1 year, and then I got offered a job to leave school and intern at the Minneapolis Children's Theater Company, which is a renowned professional children's theater company. And so I was getting paid. I interned there for a whole year and got paid to do shows.
Nice.
And then when I was going to consider going back to school, got offered Sandy in Grease at a dinner theater in Minneapolis. Again, and I thought, I can either pay to learn in the classroom, which is valuable, or I can get paid to learn on the job. And that ended up being my path. I never went back to college and then booked a Broadway show from that reality show. So I have a very unconventional story and a very unconventional path, but it was all about being in the right place at the right time and being prepared when a door opened, being prepared to walk through it and take that leap, even when it was unconventional.
I think that's really key. And here at Nashville Christian Songwriters, we're all about equipping and coaching and helping people be prepared. One of my friends, John Mays, who's over Centricity Music, I heard him say this years ago, and I've never forgotten it, that our job is preparation and God's job is opportunity.
Yes.
Isn't that great?
I love that. Yes.
I love that. I should steal it and take credit for it, but it's so true, right?
And it's also having the courage to, when that door or opportunity comes, walk through it. But the more prepared you are, the more courageous and ready you will be when that comes knocking. And I think God, gives us little responsibilities to see if we're ready, to see if he can trust us with a bigger responsibility.
That's so true, right? Right? It's like, are we going to be faithful with little so that he can reward us with much? And you're someone who has been given a lot. How did you find your way, as a 21-year-old in Greece on Broadway? where did your parents move there with you? Did you?
Great question.
How was that?
I was engaged at the time. So I had met my husband during that year interning at the theater. We actually understudied the leads in a musical together and went on. The leads collided on stage. I had to go to the hospital, and Nate and I shared our first kiss on stage in a musical in Minnesota. And then, so we were engaged at the time. I ended up winning this reality show, we moved up our wedding and got married so that we could go to New York together.
Okay, great.
And so at least I had Nate, and I'm so thankful for that because you're right. It's such a whirlwind in New York and the industry. It's easy to lose your soul sometimes.
Yeah.
And so I was very grateful that I had him and both my faith to help keep me grounded. But my parents were awesome, always very supportive without being total stage parents. But honestly, I have to say that the transition to New York was a little bit of a culture shock, but the work itself felt like something I had been preparing my entire life for. The process of rehearsal and putting on a show was actually very familiar. It was just a whole lot of more money and pressure behind it, doing it at that level. But I found that I was like, oh, this is what I know, and this is what I love, and this is what I've been doing. And so I did feel like all my experiences that God had brought my way did help equip me for that Broadway experience.
That's so amazing. So dozens of shows, big shows, not just off-Broadway. We love off-Broadway, but you were on Broadway doing all of these big shows. You're a Tony Award nominee and so many other, the Drama Desk Award many times over and other incredible awards. And then you hit a pretty big bump in the road with COVID when you didn't want to receive the vaccine. And you were, I don't know how that became known. Maybe if you want to share that. But you were one of the unfortunate canceled victims of our crazy culture. You know, really attacks people when you're going against the grain.
Especially in that industry.
Yeah. Take us into that experience, and then we'll move on into what's happened as a result.
Sure thing. So COVID obviously shut the industry down, shut New York City down for almost 2 years. And just as mandates were being put in place, I had agreed to do a one-night concert that was suddenly on Long Island. This was not a Broadway show. This was not anything. It was a one-night concert, and ended up deciding to back out of that concert because they were mandating. And I was like, well, I hadn't yet received the vaccine. I just wanted to wait a little longer. And lo and behold, 1 week later, after backing out, there was an article in the New York Post saying I was fired for refusing to be vaccinated.
Oh, no.
And this article spread like wildfire, and there were a lot of untruths in the article about what happened, and really actually attacked my character, who I was as a person. And it suddenly was like the 15 years I had spent investing a career and loving, my friends in this industry went down the drain. None of that mattered because of this one issue. And we felt like we had to leave. I no longer felt welcome. I lost 5 other jobs after that because of the article. And we ended up suing the New York Post for defamation. And the case was resolved, but it was a long, drawn-out process. Glad we did it, just because, just even to prove a point, again, to act in courage at a time we're going, this was wrong, what happened here, and the accusations that were made were not true. And so that's honestly what led us to Tennessee, a big reason what led us down here.
But how horrible to go through that, not only just the loss of your work and your income and your position, your reputation, but to be branded as someone who doesn't care about other people because you're not receiving the vaccine, and everything was so insane back in that moment because we didn't know if the world was coming to an end. We didn't know who was going to be dying next. It was horrible.
Absolutely.
And so then now you're branded as a horrible human being who doesn't care about others around you.
And that's it. When actually before rehearsals had even started was when I backed out, and the article made it seem like I was putting people in danger, and in fact I actually backed out to avoid putting people in any danger. And that the article claimed that I had lied about, that I was vague about my status, when really I was truthful and now being punished for being 100% truthful because I backed out. But it's all good. Like, God uses it, and again, got us here. And I don't think I ever would have left New York had something so extreme not happened. And it was a clear, turn in my path, and what, a lot of what my purpose is now. And I'm not saying I won't ever go back. A lot of people ask if I miss it. And what I miss is the excellence with which art was made and theater is done in New York City. Yes, I do miss that. And there are some people I miss too. A lot of relationships were broken, but the ones that mattered have been mended. And that's huge for me. I had to go on a whole process of forgiveness and
Yes, you did.
all of that. So I grew so much as a person and learned fortitude and standing up, for your convictions. And I have no regrets, so it pushes you into other outlets and other forms of creativity. And I hope God has used that incident to help inspire others.
Yeah. When we quote Romans 8 about God, redeeming, working together all things for good,
Beauty from ashes.
Yeah, but we don't like the ashes part, do we? We don't like the meltdowns and the burnouts and the cancellations, and we don't like that stuff. And yet, that's when we most often invoke that scripture. But
I know.
So God is continuing, I'm sure, in the process of redeeming it. But it was a pretty hard pivot for you guys. So you and Nathan moving to Nashville to kind of explore your singer-songwriter side. Open that up for us.
Yeah. So I think for 2 years I was kind of on the floor, not knowing who I was or even like what I was good for if I wasn't performing on a stage in a musical.
Right.
I had really put all my eggs in that basket, as I said, from when I was 2 years
your
old.
Identity, your
that
whole
was my
identity is that, right?
That was it. And so I had to learn that lesson the hard way. But I have, and that is the most beautiful thing. So when I moved here, I have a music manager who kind of took me under his wing and encouraged me in the songwriting direction. I had never written before. I had never considered writing before. I had never wanted to write before. I am an expert at bringing someone else's work to life. And suddenly in this moment, when I felt like I was being silenced and ostracized, I finally felt like maybe I have something to say.
Wow.
And maybe I could do it through songwriting. Who could stop me from doing that? And that this was an outlet, a way for me to share my heart and still use my gift and explore that songwriting. Here in Nashville, the Music City, this was the place to do it. And so I got paired with some incredible local writers who helped me share my story through song. And I released a 5-track EP called On the Other Side, a year to the date after that article had been written. And so
But probably filled with some pain, though.
Oh, yeah. Yes, both. I think there's some hopeful songs about trying to stay strong in the midst of it. There's a song called Great Divide about losing friendships. There's a song about being happy anywhere as long as I have my husband Nate. Like, I'll go anywhere as long as I have him, and him really being my rock through all of this. And it was an exciting challenge. I had to find my voice in more ways than one, literally and figuratively. What was Laura's voice when she wasn't inside a character on a stage? And it's so much easier, I think, to hide behind a character.
Okay, I got something for you. Okay? Okay, something you said a minute ago is so cool. Maybe I have something to offer. Maybe I have something to say. Maybe out there
I love it.
someone will listen. Maybe I am okay. I just made that up out of what you just said. Thank you.
Love it.
But I love what you said. Maybe I have something to offer. I mean, isn't that every songwriter's question?
Yeah.
Right? What do I have that can be of value to this world, and your identity was so ensconced in your identity as an actress, and yet God has given you something to say. That's so beautiful. So I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I was
No, are you kidding?
I was getting inspired over here.
You always have to, write that down. You always have to go with the inspiration when it takes you.
Yeah, right.
I did write a song called I Will Sing, which is similar, saying like, I may not be very good at these things. I'm not good at words. I'm not good at whatever, but the thing that I can do is sing. The thing, I can share my voice in hopes that brings people together, that actually spreads a message of love in this time that is really hateful.
But to be you, like you said it so beautifully a moment ago, being you instead of just the voice inside another character. And do you think that there's something, like a really great spiritual lesson there in that God wants us to be uniquely us? And a lot of the writers that we wind up dealing with are imitating someone else.
Yeah.
Right? I want to be the next Chris Tomlin, or I want to be the next Lauren Daigle. And it's like, well, we already have Chris and Lauren. Why don't you just be you, So that's a big lesson.
Absolutely. And I think that's been a unique journey for me because and we started chatting about this, but I found that my songs, my original music, share my heart and my story, but don't necessarily showcase the instrument that I have because I'm trying to fit into this like singer-songwriter
The singer-songwriter
box.
thing, yeah.
And I think it took going on that journey of no regrets. I learned so much from songwriting, and I think that will still be a piece of what I do. But I feel most at home in a gown with a symphony. You know what I mean?
Course.
Or somewhere more in that realm.
Remarkably well, I might
so
add.
Sweet. Thank you. But to say there can be a place for both, and going, my instrument feels more showcased in a different realm than the singer-songwriter space, but I'm also like able to share my heart when I'm in the singer-songwriter space. And maybe there's a way to share my heart in a more kind of epic song that could be sung with a symphony. I haven't explored that yet. And maybe I will. Maybe that's down the line.
You know, I think that would be incredible. I think you really could do that and expand a little bit on the singer-songwriter thing, maybe a hybrid between the two, and it could be called Maybe I Have Something to Offer. And,
I love that. Let's take it and run.
A little pitch here. I'd love to write that with you. That would be so great.
Hey everybody, we'll get right back to the episode in just a second, but if you're a songwriter who wants to grow in their craft, finally finish those songs that have been stuck in your journal for years, and connect and collaborate with Christian songwriters from around the globe, NCS Community is the place to start. We meet every week to offer accountability, training, resources, masterclasses, feedback, and song critiques on things that you're working on. And it's just a great place to connect with other Christian songwriters and encourage each other on the journey of becoming a great songwriter. NCS's mission has always been to empower Christian songwriters worldwide, and we'd love to see you there. So check it out, NashvilleChristianSongwriters.com/community. You can find all the details there right on our website, and we'd love to see you inside NCS Community. Check it out.
But you know, when you're someone who has developed such an incredible skill and a beautiful talent, something that when I hear you sing, there's such emotion. I mean, even singing Les Mis, whatever it is you're singing, it's like, wow, there's such depth, but there's a spiritual quality. There's that intangible X factor that not everybody has, even if they can sing and sing well. And how do you tap into the emotion of a character? You know, for instance, when you're on stage to not only convince people but connect with people from your soul.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. There is something about I'm kind of known for the purity of my tone, which is why like. There's sometimes I wish I just had more soul. I wish I had some grit and gravel.
Yeah.
And the more I try to do that, that's inauthentic. And I've learned that. I've tried to do that, and I'm like, well, that's not really me. That's not the gift God gave me. God gave me a pure, crystalline sound that can, emit emotion and honesty. And so I think the more I lean into that is actually how my gift can impact people and inspire and influence an audience. So I'm learning that. I'm continually still being challenged by that.
Because don't you think comparison is just such an evil thing?
Oh, yes.
You know, when you
we
think,
always want what we can't have.
Gee, you know, I wish I had more grit and gravel. I wanted to be Stephen Curtis Chapman. We both came to town about the same time. He got the bus and the band, and I became a great publisher here. But you know, he was in front of people singing his songs and got the cute hair, and it's like I wanted to be him so bad. But I'm convinced that comparison is just the killer of any creativity.
There's a
and
quote about that's the thief of joy.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, I mean, have you struggled with comparison? I know probably a lot of people do.
Yes, yes and no. And I coach and I teach a lot as well. And I feel like it's good to have inspirations. It's great to have people you want to emulate or look up to. But finding your unique thing that you do really well is the thing that's going to propel you to find success in the industry. Whether
And
that's
owning
theater.
it.
Yes, walking in every room, confidently owning that. And so I try to encourage other young artists to find that. And I think I'm still, as a singer-songwriter artist, I'm still finding that. I don't feel like I'm a professional at that in that realm. But as far as finding who I was in the musical theater space, I clicked into that.
sure
I
you
found
did.
who that was and what I brought that was unique and special and owned it every time I walked in the room. And so I think it's a combination of knowing the gifts that you have, not saying you have to box yourself into something, but it's knowing what you're great at and leading with that. And then learning from there, being able to, expand within either side of that. But I think, you asked about preparing for a role emotionally. A lot of that comes from research of knowing even like the time period of the role you're playing and discovering that character's voice and how she stands and how am I bringing Laura to this character so it feels truthful and authentic.
That's so amazing.
But also, can be grounded at the same time.
So you branched out into some television and movies.
Yes.
How did your theater experience translate? And what's it like to be in a Hallmark movie, for crying out loud? You know how many of those we've watched?
Yeah. Thank you. They're actually quite different art forms. I was terrified the first time. My first Hallmark movie I booked just from the director knew who I was and the character had to sing. So I got an offer. I didn't audition for it. And I thought, I have to lead a movie and I have no idea what I'm doing. I've been a creature of the stage my entire life. And so I was terrified. I called my parents and I was like, please pray for me. I have to lead a movie and I don't know what I'm doing. And I admitted that to the director. I said, please. I was just very humble. I had a very humble approach leading into my first movie because I didn't want to make a fool of myself and I didn't want to walk in thinking like I knew what I was doing. So I said, please direct me. Like if I'm making weird faces, let me know. If you have ideas, please tell me. I am not above correction and taking notes. And so, and literally even after one day on set, most of it was just fear of the unknown. After one day on set, I was like, okay, I understand this now because the process is very different. In theater, you get a month of rehearsal where you can try and fail and get to know your castmates and learn in the room and develop something, as where film is like, welcome, we're shooting the fight scene or we're shooting the kiss scene or we're shooting like day one sometimes. And so you have to do all that preparation work kind of on your own before you even walk in the room. And you don't get that. You have to be your own director and you have to be your own, rehearsal artist and note taker. And granted, a director in a film is more about setting up the shot and creating a pretty picture, not necessarily leading you in your artistic journey.
Right. They don't have time to teach you your craft.
That's it.
Yeah, you're on.
So I had to learn to, do that myself. And I'm fortunate enough to have some great directors that have helped hold my hand along the way. And also great co-stars who are willing to talk about a scene and figure out subtext and rehearse a little bit. Because being a creature of the stage, I really love rehearsal. And you don't always get that in the TV film.
Right.
Especially in those Hallmark movies, you shoot them in 14 days, 15 days. It is all hands on deck.
Just crazy. Yeah.
But it is joyful. I have found to really love that space now that I feel more confident in it and I know what to expect. But it is really fun, especially if it's a Christmas movie. Most of them shoot in the summer. So it's hot.
Yeah.
But you end up celebrating Christmas the whole year because you film all summer, you promote in the fall, and then the movie finally comes out in the winter, and then there's real Christmas. And so it's really joyful.
And you get to kiss the guy at the end of the movie, and the fake snow comes down,
That's
and everybody knows that's such a
just
signature.
The feel-good, predictable romance.
I love it.
Yep.
So let's bring things now present day. You've been here in Nashville about 4 years. You and Nathan transitioned here, and now you have started this wonderful thing called mystagecraft.com, which we mentioned earlier in the show. But tell us all about that. We'll put the link in the show notes, but tell us what you're doing to raise up the next generation.
Yeah, so Stagecraft was definitely a God-given idea to help equip the next generation of stage artists. I get asked to teach and I coach. I love traveling and working with universities and theater students or coaching one-on-one. And my specialty specifically is audition technique and preparation and acting through song, bringing a song to life. And I just was given the charge of going I have the tools to be able to help a lot of people with what I know, which seems like, common sense to me because I've lived through it, but so many people don't. And I get asked by both students and parents all the time looking for a resource, a way to be able to support their child and send their children off to mentors that they can trust. As we know, the industry is
crazy.
All kinds of crazy and up and down. And parents are looking for, professionals who have done it that they can trust both with the content that they're teaching as well as the humans, and the character of the person that is, mentoring their child. And so I brought this idea to Nate, my husband, with kind of I feel like I would love to offer some sort of masterclass that we could tape and I can scale myself because
Absolutely.
I can't go everywhere. I can't be everywhere at once.
It's so good.
And Nate was like, if we're doing it for you, we should invite some of our other friends to join who also specialize in areas that I may not. And also help bring clout to what we're offering. So our inaugural course is called Spotlight Ready, Musical Theater Essentials. And it features 5 modules taught by 6 Broadway pros, all artists who have worked in New York on Broadway at the top level. And it's intended for young artists. We say 13 plus, but it definitely works for college students. It could work for regional professionals who want an insider look from Broadway stars who have done it. But it is the foundations. It's audition technique. It's belting. It's what to wear, how to choose your songs, how to overcome nerves and rejection. Like all of the pain points that students and parents have talked to me about over the years, we made sure to put in this course so that it can help you wherever you are on your journey.
That's so cool. So talk a little more about the format. This is online learning.
Yes.
This is
it's like a masterclass. So it's all pre-taped video courses. It's probably overall like 8+ hours of content for one low price. You get lifetime access. And it's 5 modules. So you watch it from the comfort of your home on your time. You can grow and learn. There are exercises, worksheets, PDFs, dozens of resources, warm-up videos and exercises you can use for a lifetime, a one-time purchase for this insider access to this course.
I love it. And do you ever do coaching here in Nashville?
I do.
People come here to work with you and Nathan?
I do on occasion. I don't advertise that I teach because I don't often have tons of time in my schedule.
Right.
So I'm very... I choose very carefully who I work with one-on-one. And maybe someday we'll open a place where I'm doing that more regularly, but because I travel and do concerts and have some film projects and other things in the works, I kind of made the course so that I don't have to teach in person. I was like, everything I know that you will learn in person is now in this course that you can access anytime you want, anywhere. But it doesn't replace, I do understand that being in person, nothing really replaces that. So this is meant as a tool and a resource to help supplement what students are getting in their local communities.
That's so fantastic. And we're moving into our 11th year here at NCS, which is incredible. I'm in my 44th year in Christian music in one way or the other. I'm so old. I'm 187.
Stop.
And
you have wisdom. You have wisdom.
Yeah. So, but what I've found is that there are zillions of hours like on YouTube for songwriting, but when I'm with people, they love that human touch as well, and so
I totally get that.
maybe you can add some of that component later. But I think this is incredible, and scaling, you just can't reach everybody, But people do love. We're offering so many different coaching offers. From our community through our artist development program.
That's right.
Clark Beckham is part of one of our upper programs, which is exciting, and just having so much growth here at NCS. It's exciting, and just to have you join us today has been phenomenal. Laura, do you have anything that you would, some parting words, maybe offer to someone who might be a young, other than go to mystagecraft.com?
Exactly.
I know that, but anything just on a heart level that you might encourage a young artist with? Thanks
for asking. The 3 things that I always say, and it sounds kind of cliche, but be yourself. It goes back to that authenticity of, I think as artists, we spend our lives trying to be what we think they want us to be.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, God gave you unique gifts and talents and trusted you with those. And so leaning into your strengths and owning who you are and what God made you to be. No one is you.
Right.
So own who you are. Second, be patient. So many things did not go my way. It's from the public eye, you only see the successes, but there are so many doors that closed, roles I didn't get, things that didn't happen. obviously cancellation, that's a whole different thing. But like being patient and trusting that if you keep showing up with excellence and are consistent in your craft, eventually the right door will open at the right time. So stick with it. And then thirdly, plow your own path. I said at the beginning, I have a very unconventional story. I didn't follow the world's path to success. God led me on this reality TV show journey that never has happened to anyone else in America. So like for me to reach my Broadway dream. And so I think sometimes getting scrappy and discerning as opposed to just always doing the status quo is really important. You don't want to miss what God has for you because you're stuck in a routine.
Yeah. So inspirational, Laura.
Thanks.
So incredible.
Likewise.
You just beam with just joy and with God's Spirit and just a purity that's like your voice. And so thank you for being with us today and sharing your experience and to have made the new transition and leaning into that and bringing us mystagecraft.com to encourage the next generation. That's what we're all about here too. So kindred spirits, thank you so much. Now, one last question before I close out for today. Where is the preferred platform to interact with you?
Yeah. You can follow me personally at Laura Osnes, my name, LauraOsnes. You can find Stagecraft on Instagram at mystagecraft. So I would say Instagram is probably my most active platform. I do have a website, lauraosnes.com. That is updated with less regularity, but it does exist. I'm on YouTube, and all my music, all my original music, as well as cast albums that I've gotten to be on from my Broadway experience are everywhere. Yes, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, all the things.
All right. Laura Osnes, thank you so much.
Thank you, John. Take care. Thanks for having me.
Of course. All right, you guys, that blessed me so much. And just loving theater, loving that kind of music, loving, I mean, heck, I just actually started a little Broadway song there. Maybe I have something to offer. I love it. I just love the whole genre. And so I hope that you'll go over to YouTube, look up Laura Osnes, enjoy her music, the beautiful gowns, and just the production. It's all larger than life and so incredible. And that you'll check out mystagecraft.com. And if you're a young aspiring artist, that you'll go ahead and take advantage of her skill or expertise, and more importantly, her heart to help you get where you want to go. And so those of you who are our regular listeners, songwriters, you know everything we have is over at NashvilleChristianSongwriters.com. We have a brand new complete songwriting guide that is in the show notes. You can check out that link, and it's going to take you on a 12-month themed experience of adding skills, knowledge, and expertise to your songwriting so that you can fulfill your passionate calling. It's a privilege to serve you and have you here on Song Revolution. So we'll see you again next time. Hey, thanks for joining us on today's episode. Be sure to check out all the information below in the show notes, and be sure to like and share. We'll see you next time.